we reported on the prospect that a new pope might just let a few rays of sunshine into that vast and heavily guarded treasure trove, and maybe let a few secrets out. Specifically, what the Vatican knows about extraterrestrial visitors and how the Vatican knows it. It turns out Pope Leo XIV has a spiritual connection to the Vatican's long history of astronomical research, and a personal connection to a land where mysterious phenomena aren't confined to the heavens.
For me on this show.
They are literally carved into the ground.
We'll hire someone.
I'm going to dig into all of this, chapter and verse, in this jam-packed hour-long special on the connection
It's an hour long.
between the
we don't
Vatican
do that.
and
Jam-packed.
whatever truth may
18
be
minutes.
out there. So let's get started. I sure didn't think when I got up today that I'd be covering a European election. But how often do just one about as likely as a female pope? But now, as you may have heard, Cardinal Robert Prevost, holder of both U.S. and Peruvian citizenship, has become Pope Leo XIV. And that name is a very big reason we are taking our true crime hats off tonight and putting on our mystery hats, or shall I say our mystery miters.
Oh, boy.
Okay, a lot has been made already about why the successor of Peter and the immediate successor of Francis took the name Leo. The last Pope Leo ruled for 25 years at the end of the 19th century. He's known as the social justice pope, using the ultimate pulpit to speak up for workers' rights and economic fairness.
Like Bernie Sanders,
in fact, the Vatican has now confirmed the new pope picked his new name for that very reason. But you know what else Pope Leo XIII did? He established the Vatican Observatory, cementing the church's long-standing fascination with the heavens. Not just heaven, either.
Want to get rid of this visceral fat?
I do, actually. Hang on, let me see this.
Oh, my goodness.
Sneaks up on you,
Hey, it's
doesn't
Dr.
it?
Drew.
Now, the Vatican operates a state-of-the-art telescope system on the outskirts of Rome and Mount Graham in Arizona. Vatican astronomers collaborate with astronomers in leading institutions worldwide. Their findings, their methods, and their research, like all Vatican records, are preserved for the ages, you guessed it, in the Vatican archives. And they could help answer an ancient debate. Whether centuries-old sightings of angels and other heavenly beings were actually extraterrestrials, non-human visitors from somewhere else in the universe, you know, like the Tic Tacs that we've been seeing lately. Aliens or angels or anything you call them all, that's captivated UFO researchers and conspiracy theorists since the last Pope Leo wore that hat. And when Francis died, many hoped that the transition would bring about an opening of the archive doors. Pope Francis, by the way, just last fall authorized an expansion of the Vatican archives and library, which already comprise 50 miles of shelving.
I'm curious where this will go, because like the Catholic Church has been open in the past few years, as far as my limited knowledge of the Catholic Church, about the acceptance of aliens or extraterrestrials. So like, are they building up to something, you know, like a disclosure as we're having all this disclosure over here? Or is it something different?
LFG is what I'm going to say, because I want to see this. I think a lot of people do. My whole thing, my entire life, is that Tom DeLonge was right. For Blink-182,
he's been on top of it.
He has been doing amazing things for a long time with this, and I love the guy. He's amazing, and I hope that this is a segue to us getting some real information when it comes to this.
Imagine a future where Tom DeLonge is in the Vatican archives.
I can.
Yeah, I can too. Actually.
I'm dreaming about it as we speak.
Yeah, he got mocked by Rogan on Rogan about some of the things he was saying. And then like a year or two later, those things came out, you know. I do want to say, like, I don't trust everything the government puts out. So even if it did corroborate things Tom was saying, you know, I don't immediately be like, oh, could I trust it? You know, because I think they're trying to build towards a narrative to instill fear in people. I think something's going on out there in the world, something that we don't understand. But the more and more I hear the government try to tell me things. I'm like, I don't know if it's that exact thing, but they certainly know stuff or have stuff. Like you were saying, I think it was before we went live about some of the crafts that we have, right? And I think all these governments have something.
Yeah, we've got the CIA guy claiming that the U.S. is in possession of more than 10 or 20 of these things, and not even counting, other states and other countries and what they've recovered on their side. Yeah. That's just us alone,
right?
And you've got Area 51, which is one of just the most widely known areas for where they're storing this stuff and stuff like that, and all the the stuff that surrounds that. And the government always has to have a statement, right?
Yeah.
In anything that happens. Okay, we've got to draft a statement. We've officially got 24 hours to release these photos and whatever before something happens. Same thing with NASA.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is just crazy because never has there been any actual definitive evidence given to us from the government that we can say that we can trust.
Yeah.
Right? It's always just been doctored photos and alien autopsy videos and stuff like that. But having this guy come out and say, hey, no, I'm telling you, that's just here. We've got that. It's confirmed. I'm telling you that right now. And this is CIA.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to ignore when something like that happens.
My ears are I'm listening. But the CIA telling me things, I'm like, why are they telling me now?
You mean to tell me that there's all these documents that are there and they've just been so good at disclosing it, hiding it, keeping it a secret, and not putting it out? They're that good at their job.
Well, they could have. Yeah, I think there are parts of the government, like there's the part of the government that's completely incompetent that we see, and then there's the part of the government that has been in control for a long time, that understands how to control narratives and hide things. It's possible. I don't know what they have, but the CIA has been open about it a lot lately. And former CIA, and I don't think there's such a thing as former CIA. I think you pretend to be former CIA. You're cosplaying.
Oh, you never leave.
You're
you
cosplaying.
Can never really leave the CIA.
No, you're never. So why? I'm just always questioning, why are they telling me this now? And it's been a slow burn of disclosure for a while. It's really ramped up recently, which has been fun for the show. But like in 2015 and 2016, I always mention this. The New York Times put out an article saying we were in possession of vehicles not made of this earth. That was the phrase. Hell does that even mean? I know what that means, but why did no one care? Why was that just forgotten about? But now it ties directly into what you're just saying about the CIA guy. So they have something. And there's other people out there saying these might not be from space. They might be from another dimension. They might be from underwater. And there's been hearings, we've talked about this a bunch, where Senate hearings, they start talking about UFOs that are from under the water. Like in the ocean. And the second they start talking about those things at the hearings, they're like, this is a behind closed doors discussion. We can't talk about this publicly.
Well, the last thing we want to do is generate civil unrest, because God forbid we have riots over aliens.
In our civilized society, yeah.
Alien lives matter. That'd be a fun one.
I don't know.
UFOs protesting.
Well, you would, the crazy thing to your point here is thinking about the fact that, and obviously we've only got what astronomers and stuff have told us, going all the way back to Copernicus, placing the sun at the center of the universe,
right.
We really don't know, but from the information that we've been given, from what we believe, there's nowhere inhabitable near us, except for Mars, apparently, but
allegedly.
Nowhere where life has been able to form and grow a civilization, right? So if we are seeing these crafts or these vehicles from other places, a dimension area is crazy to think about that. But when we discuss how long it would take to get to these places, then you're looking at AU, you're looking at light speed, right?
Yeah.
And if these people are able to achieve that, if these civilizations are able to achieve that, even if these are unmanned crafts, maybe they're flown by their own version of AI.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a Bill Gates. Who knows?
Oh yeah, great.
Maybe
Bill Gates is that.
Yeah, and maybe he's the alien,
Right.
and he's here, and that's why they're coming out with it now. Who knows? But you would have to think that they have some kind of way of interdimensional travel or of light speed travel to be able to get all the way to us.
Yeah.
So the fact that, and you talk about manipulating wormholes and black holes to travel to other parts of space. Like
Another
just
thing that's in the
tears
news
in
lately.
time.
Yeah, there's a guy saying he's created the technology that would open wormholes. I think we're on the cusp of something big happening. Like, so, whether you believe it or not, they're going to try to change the way we view reality in a big way. And it could be with alien disclosure, it could be with technology, all of it together. And it's been a slow burn. Like the Ashton Forbes
they've been doing
thing,
it for years. Yeah,
like I have my criticisms of the video he talks about, but like I always say, the thing that's most important about it is that technology, whatever it is, it either exists or they've been working on it to create portals, to all this stuff. Like we know that. We know they do all these things that are crazy with our money. And then I was gonna what was I gonna say earlier? Oh yeah, it reminded me of just like secret operations. You know, I think this is actually a little tie-over from the episode we did with Austin. But like we have there in I think it's near Frederick, Maryland. There's a crazy bioweapons base. And that it has been connected to, you remember the anthrax letters thing?
Yeah, where they were just sending letters to people, and
that
they just
anthrax
open them and just boom, anthrax.
Allegedly came from that.
Fort Detrick.
Fort Detrick. Like it came from there. You know, and then the guy who was involved in it, they said who was doing it, like he died suspiciously, and they don't even think he might have been this actual suspect. And this is all happening, they were saying, in regards to the Patriot Act being passed to drum up fear.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Unabomber was doing, MK Ultra guy, by the way. So it's just fascinating. Yeah, you know, just talking about the things we have in our possession in these laboratories. That's just anthrax. You know, think about then all the weird stuff they've got. Like I know you said Area 51, but there's all these underground things. We got Mount Weather nearby. We got all these doomsday bunkers that the government has created to basically become a breakaway civilization when things go wrong. Right.
Yeah, to select the top members of the community to come and rebuild the new world.
Exactly. I just watched Terminator last night, and we are there. You know, like if a nuclear holocaust happens, robots rise up. I think the government already has AGI.
They don't even need a nuclear holocaust now.
Yeah.
If Elon has these cyborgs, as they are. Yep. And they're already weaponized and trained to kill. I seen a video.
Hey, don't talk about his baby mamas like that.
Yeah, he probably has like 3 or 4 of them. This is the picture with him kissing one, right?
Yes.
It just completely blew my train of thought.
Oh, sorry,
Thinking
dude.
of Elon
Sorry.
making out with
cyborgs.
A robot now,
He's built cyborgs taking over.
If you think about that, he's got Starlink.
Yep.
He's got all these satellites in orbit now. You know, free internet. That's a great. It's a great expose.
Oh, yeah.
You know, realistically, those satellites control those drones.
Yeah.
Those drones can move anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And do whatever they want to. And I mean, we can reference Star Wars here and say execute Order 66.
Right.
And all those drones pull out a gun and turn on their families. They want you to buy a drone.
Yep.
They want you to buy a robot, bring it into your house, let it raise your kids.
Yep.
$30,000. It's not that big of a deal, you know. Just take out a second home loan. You got your own robot. It'll do your housework for you. It's very convenient. Yes, it also learns every single intimate detail about you. It knows your patterns. It knows the things that you like, the things that you don't like, and it knows at the end of the day the easiest way to get rid of you.
Yep.
And make no mistake, if they ever really wanted to, they could flip that switch.
100%.
They have the capability, not us.
100%.
And you can't turn it off.
Yep.
You have no capability of turning it off.
And then think about Starlink having all these defense contracts with the spy satellite, with our government to operate the spy satellites. So, you know,
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's the idea is tantalizing, thinking that, hey, we could send an army of these things to go fight instead of American men and women dying in war. That's a beautiful thing.
For sure.
But the other side of that coin is so much more terrifying.
I totally agree.
So much more terrifying.
I mean, Anduril is another company Peter Thiel funded, started by Palmer Luckey. Palmer Luckey started the Oculus headset, bought by Meta. Then he was kicked out of Meta for being, I don't know what he was doing. He's kind of a funny guy. But they're creating killer robots. You know, he does say, though, and I appreciate this about him, that the violence that happens at war maybe shouldn't become all remote. You know, it's like my issue with drones. Like, I understand what you're saying. I agree about, like, maybe we can save lives. There's also something that becomes really dystopian about having armies of robots and people at home remote controlling it. Like, I feel uncomfortable with the drones, you know, like.
Well, they won't even be controlled by us. So we're talking
Maybe.
about
AI
robots
powered.
that have AI, that have minds of their own. So they are going to be in
Imagine
tactical
that.
situations,
Definitely.
making their own decisions based
Definitely.
off of the greater needs of whoever is turning the dials.
It's
right?
definitely going to happen. We got ghost drones now that they're creating. The cyborgs are coming. It's going to be very interesting.
I seen a video the other day of one of those drone dogs.
Oh yeah,
The headless ones with just the legs that do this, and it had a flamethrower on its back.
yeah. I've seen that. It's great.
Is the one that's attacking the guy,
Yeah.
and he jumps into the pool, and he's like trying to get away from it, and it's firing 10-foot flames at him for some reason.
Yeah.
Like,
What's wrong with that?
that's considered a malfunction.
Yeah, dude. Mark Andreessen brags about. This is one of those tech guys, Silicon Valley. He's in Doge now, I guess, or part of in Doge, partly in Doge. He brags about having robot dogs that can run faster than you. You know, it's like, it's wild. It's wild. We're in for a really rough ride. I think they're starting to understand how weird it's going to get with everyone is going to be replaced with their jobs by a machine. It's going to be like the fourth industrial revolution.
And that's already started happening. If you look at grocery stores now,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
self-checkout
There you go.
counters are the only thing that you
There's
can
your
go
dog
to.
right there.
Was his name the Detonator? Was that
Terminator.
the
The
Terminator?
Terminator. Great.
Like Terminator.
Right.
That is terrifying.
Right. Jeez.
Dun 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 dun.
I love that soundtrack.
Dun, dun,
It's
dun, dun, dun.
incredible soundtrack. Terminator is really, really good. It's a blueprint for the world we're going to be inheriting.
This is a robot with a flamethrower on its back and the capability to run faster than you.
What could go wrong? What could go wrong?